Find all our courses at MeanThat.com. Let's assume that we have already become a successful entrepreneurs and we have created some company or organization. Now we would like to measure how successful we are when it comes to management. And that's why in this video we are going to talk about how to measure organizational effectiveness. And we are going to have three basic approaches. So first one, then there is a second one and third one. And you can really imagine that there are going to be different kinds of organizations and different approaches are going to suit these different kinds of organizations. So as you can see, we will first have an approach, then we will briefly describe this approach, and then maybe the most important one, it is necessary to understand the goals that we set or some sort of a measurements. So measurements that fit into this approach. So let's give it a head start. At first, we have our external resource approach. Now, before we proceed to the description, I think we can guess quite correctly already from the name what is this approach going to be about. We are going to sort of look externally and we are going to look at our resources. So if we draw it very briefly, there is of course our organization, which is right over here. And now we are having some sort of inputs. So let's say that we have some inputs. And these inputs really are the resources that we are obtaining from the environment. So these are the resources. Now you see, we are looking externally outside of our organization, and we are looking specifically and particularly at the resources that we are obtaining from the environment. So now let's proceed to the description and see if we have been correct. So this approach evaluates the organization's ability to secure, manage and control scarce and valued skills and resources. So we have been correct. So these sort of inputs that are coming to our organizations are the scarce and valued skills and resources. And what those can be? Well, it can be, let's say, some skilled personnel. Then there can be, of course, capital. There can be capital and let's say some raw materials. So let's see if we can find these that we have just named in the goals to set. At first, we should focus on lower costs of inputs. Let me finish the sentence of inputs. Then we have obtaining high quality inputs, increasing market share, gaining support from stakeholders. And I can already see it. You see, either lower cost of inputs or obtaining high quality inputs is basically talking about inputs exactly as we have said. Now, this is a little bit indirect and tricky. We have increasing market share and gaining support from stakeholders. It is basically talking about one particular input, which is the capital or the money. So capital. The more capital we have, the more value we are able to create within our organization. So that was the external resource approach. Now let's see the second one, internal systems approach. And again, let's try it. We have internal, so we are going to look internally and we will look at systems. So let's try to draw it. We have our organization and this time I will draw it a little bit bigger. So this is again our organization. So let's see, here we have, and within this our organization there are going to be some functioning systems, and let's imagine that there are people and these people are creating the system. So here we have some personnel, there we have some personnel, and they all are creating some, let's say, communication systems. They need to cooperate, they need to communicate and maybe exchange some resources. Now this, what I have highlighted with this pink color, can be called a system. And we are looking internally at our system. So let's see if we have been correct. So this system, or sorry, this approach evaluates the organization's ability to be innovative, and function quickly and responsively. And that is exactly the question which is inside of our organization. If we want our personnel to be innovative, we need to work with it and set our goals accordingly, and as well to be quickly, to function quickly and responsibly. Let's see some goals that we should set. Cut decision making time, increase the rate of production, increase coordination and motivation of employees. This is a really important one. Then reduce conflict and reduce time to market. I think you can quite clearly feel that all these are striving for one particular purpose, which is increasing innovation. Innovation. And that is exactly what we have talked about here. If we are looking or using the internal systems approach, we are trying to increase the innovation within our company. Let's say the third approach, technical approach. And we have a technical here, so maybe we are going to talk about some sort of technology. And you will see in later chapters that within the organizational theory studies, technology is understood under quite a wider perspective. The technology is understood as people or their skills, then there is of course a machinery, then there can be as well knowledge. So you can see it's not only the machinery or the technology as we imagine it, is quite a broader approach. And I guess that the technical approach is going to care exactly about these, and what these are doing. Well, they are converting. So we have some conversion of our inputs into outputs. So let's see. This approach evaluates the organization's ability to convert skills and resources into goods and services efficiently. So again, let's imagine the three stages which we have talked about. We always have some input, then there is our conversion, and finally there is our output. So this approach is focusing right over here, where our organization is converting skills and resources into some valuable goods and services. So let's highlight the word convert. Now let's say the goals that we should set according to this approach. We should try to increase product quality, reduce number of defects, that is basically almost the same thing. We should reduce production costs and improve customer service in case if we are producing services. So as you really can see, especially on these three right over here, they care about the conversion process. So those were the three basic approaches on how to measure the organizational effectiveness.